Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Rogue Trader. As I recall, we were down on this planet collecting the tithe that had been, I guess, collected and stored throughout the local area because the maw is closed and we can't get it back to Terra. But right at the end, after we had ordered everything to be transported away, someone came in contact over the radio and ordered the planet to be destroyed. We don't know who or why, but clearly we are playing into someone's plans, and the fact that we've just shipped all of our goods off-world is probably not good. But yeah, we're now up on the Arbites station, and I think our goal is to figure out what's going on and who is at fault, and get back our goods that probably have been stolen from us. In the meantime, let's start exploring and collecting goods. Also, you would expect that these stations would be manned. The fact that they are empty is unusual.
Successful.
Lady Theodora's mantle. That's interesting. At the start of the wearer's turn, if there are more enemies than allies in combat, the wearer deals 20% more damage with melee weapons. Not terribly important. Oh.
Grant me the wisdom to perceive.
Almost missed that. Let's see what you are.
My success is
Just some goods.
certainty.
Alright. We've got a cogitator here. A human torso built into a massive cogitator. Countless cables entangle the shriveled body and the snake. The shriveled body and snake under the pale skin. Identification: Rogue Trader von Valencius, initiating the final stage of the Oblivion Directive. The ragged wheeze escapes the Vox grill, and the man's speech becomes more animated and bilious. You have arrived at last, offspring. At last, everything ends. Watcher of Leethus. So the cogitator is talking about initiating the Oblivion Directive. Go on, take the last step, confirm the execution of the directive, and in so doing, destroy Leethus, take its riches, and free me from this unbearable vigil. Explain to me what's going on now. Draw your weapon, I'm not playing your games. Abort the Leethus' destruction this instant, which is what I want. Were you the one who intruded on my conversation with Vigidus prior to our landing on Leethus? Also a good question. Explain to me what's going on now. You really do not know. Did she choose not to tell you, or did she not get the chance? It doesn't matter anymore. Yours is the blood of the dynasty, and so I am compelled to give you this answer. The man announces in a mechanical voice, Supreme Ordinance, the arrival of the head of the von Valencius dynasty with the purpose of the complete extraction of the tithe triggers the immediate activation of the Oblivion Directive by the Watcher of Leethus. At the moment of the directive's activation, the machine spirits of the initiation system are bound in Prometheus Proxima class Cogni Shackles. The Cogni Shackles cannot be removed by any means. The directive guarantees the Rogue Trader's acquisition of the planet's assets and the destruction of Leethus, presented as being caused by the actions of the enemies of humanity. So there's a directive that we think was Theodora's set up so that she could steal the full tithe for herself and blame it on others. Hey Songheart, welcome. So Lady Theodora intended to steal the tithe from the start. She arranged the world's destruction to cover her tracks, installed a servant to keep an eye on things, and even made a contingency plan in case of her own death. All she needed was an opportune moment like this one. With the Expanse being torn apart, the plan's death looks convincing. An outrageous accusation. Lady Theodora would never have sullied herself with such heresy. Stealing the sacred tithe? Never. Were you the one who intruded on my conversation with Vigidus prior to our landing on Leethus? Yes, I needed to exchange codes with the flagship in order to identify the vessel and its owner. I had to sift through onboard communication channels and systems to verify the new Lord Captain's data and his right to be one. Abort Leethus' destruction this instant. I must refuse. The Supreme Ordinance states that if the head of the dynasty has declared the tide's evacuation, I am to destroy the planet. You are the one who announced to the arbitrators that you were taking the tithe with you. The directive has been initiated and the Cognishacles placed. It cannot be stopped. What if I simply kill you? Then you will change nothing. The directive cannot be stopped. The Cognishacles, once applied to the initiation systems, are unbreakable. Accept your fate, offspring. I accepted mine long ago. You want me to claim the tithe for my own? I have long since been robbed of the luxury of freely expressing my thoughts. I am merely quoting Theodore's plan. This qualifies for a culprit's confession, except the culprit herself is dead, and judging this creature would be pointless. Still, we must decide what to do next, rogue trader. Here's where I stand. Lady Theodora has violated the Lex Imperialis, and the Marshal should be informed of her crime. If you are loyal to the Imperium, you will send the tithe to the Administratum and tell Marshal Strox of the events on Leethus. I do agree with you. One more accusation against my dynasty and you will be going to Leethus through an airlock. No. I still have questions for the Watcher. I still have questions for the Watcher of Leethus. Let's see what other questions we can ask. Because I want to get as much information as I can before I make a decision. Though I am inclined to agree with Solomon. Solomon nods and turns his heavy gaze to the creature. Are you a servitor or something different? Something entirely different, offspring. A prisoner of my own mind in these machines. Do not let my manner of speech deceive you. I am only following the orders vested in me. The part of my brain that controls my ability to converse and holds the scraps of my personality was severed from my volition centers and locked into a cage of functions and limitations. Which is extremely heretical as well. Like, servitors, cogitators, etc. are not supposed to keep any of the personality. So you can think for yourself. You crave death as not typical of thralls who have no will of their own. Why are you consigned to such a terrible fate? Also a good question. So you can think for yourself. Calling it thinking would be an overstatement. Imagine a corridor with all the doors locked except for one or two. That would be my consciousness. Yes, a dark, suffocating corridor with fading pictures of memory and nail scratches on the walls. You crave death. That's not typical for thralls who have no will of their own. What does it matter what I crave if I am doomed to follow orders? Yes, I need you to complete the Oblivion Directive and trigger the station's shutdown so that I can be set free at last. And yet, in all these years, I have done nothing to bring my death closer. I can wait an eternity longer, suffering but infallibly obedient. Why are you consigned to such a terrible fate? I was a threat to Theodora's rule, and she had my brain dissected. A sophisticated sentence, to be humiliated, to live in suffering, yet continue to serve the dynasty, perfectly harmless. Absorb this lesson, offspring. That is how a rogue trader metes out punishment. It's harsh. Yeah, sad. I don't want a servant like him myself. That seems awful. I have no other questions. Hey Vincent, welcome. Glad you caught up and I'm glad you're here. Of course, you are welcome to prolong my agony for as long as you like. Why do you call me offspring? What else should I call you? The heir of the dynasty's throne, a young descendant. You may have grown used to people prostrating themselves before you, but to me, you are just a child. You still haven't told me your name. Who are you? That is the one question I cannot answer. Theodora did not wish for anyone to learn the name of he who has become the Watcher of Leethus. It's rare to see Cassie of checks that aren't 100%, but I guess with a difficulty modifier of -70, makes sense. Do you serve Theodora or the dynasty? Because at the moment, I am the dynasty. You may have a point. I am but a servant, and the future of the Protectorate is in your hands. You are the authority, and I obey. I am Darius von Valentius, Theodora's older brother, whom she turned into an amalgam of machine and man. She did this to her own brother? Her older brother, who arguably would have had a claim, potentially even a better claim, to become the next rogue trader. I mean, I guess rogue traders choose their own heirs, so it's not necessary that whoever was rogue trader before her would have chosen the brother anyway. Maybe they intentionally wanted Theodora. But this feels like it could be a situation where she got rid of competition, which is rough. By the Holy Throne. So that's where I remember that voice from. I saw you once when I was accompanying Lady Theodora. You weren't as you are now back then, but she never spoke of you as her brother. Why? How could Theodora have a brother? Everyone would know of you. Had I been a legitimate child, yes, they would have written. So he's an older brother, but he's illegitimate, so child of some concubine or something. Had I been a legitimate child, yes, they would have written my name in gold into the dynasty's chronicle. However, my mother's origin, as well as certain other circumstances, were damaging for House von Valencius, and so my inclusion into the family hit a snag. When Theodora was young, I was brought to Dargonus to be trained for the role of seneschal. When she became the rogue trader, she refused to recognize me as her kin. She needed an obedient servant who wouldn't challenge her rule. Had I behaved myself, perhaps Theodora would have condescended to call me her brother and heir on her deathbed. Why were you punished? As Theodora's senior relative and direct heir, I could lay claim to her throne, and I did. I intended to kill her and declare a search for her successor, and while it went on, to enter the warrant chamber and assume the rogue trader's title by right of blood. Theodora exposed my plan, executed anyone who had taken part in the conspiracy, and turned me over to her tech priests. Alright, so that's fair. If he was already planning to kill her and take over as rogue trader, she had every right to get rid of him because she was the rogue trader already. So it wasn't a situation where she got rid of him first before she became rogue trader so that he wouldn't be competition for the title. I guess that makes her situation more tolerable, at least regarding him. Stealing the tithe is still not okay. Why come up with such an elaborate punishment? At first, I thought Theodora was going to pay me visits so she could gloat, but she never once appeared on the station. I have a different explanation now. For von Valencius, even punishment must befit his status, with a gilded prison and a one-of-a-kind augmetics, so as not to have a pathetic servitor mar the dynasty's image. I do not know what kind of person you were, but I feel sorry for you. To be reduced to an expensive doll, a toy in someone's hands. No one deserves such a fate. You've yet to ask me how your sister died. I cannot ask questions about anything unrelated to my function. Now that you have brought it up yourself, however, no, I do not want to know. If I heard that she died by chance at the hands of an unworthy opponent, I would be gravely disappointed. After all, I have always solaced myself by believing that Theodora was someone extraordinary, and only because of this, she was able to beat me. Alright, enough about that. I agree, the past is best dredged up in small quantities. I have decided what should be done with the tithe. Then announce your decision. So, dogmatic, which is the direction I tend to lean. I will not overstep the Imperium's law. The tithe must go to the administratum. Iconoclast, a portion of the tithe will remain with me, and I will see to it that it finds its way to worlds affected by the crisis. I can understand that one. Because right now, all the tithe is doing, because the maw is closed, we have no way of getting it back to the Imperium as a whole. So it just sits on a planet, slowly growing as more and more is added, but not actually doing anything valuable or anything of use. So I can understand the perspective of send most of it where it's supposed to go, but keep a portion to help out the local area. For heretical, a share of the tithe belongs to me by the right of the strongest. It will serve to support my reign in the Expanse. Or just none of them, just I claim the entire tithe for myself. We're going to go the dogmatic route, but I do understand the iconoclast. Oh, the irony. Theodora's great plan foiled by her own heir. The rogue trader has spoken. The barges will go where he has decreed, and the Watcher of Leethus has served his purpose. I'd hoped that I would feel relief. I know that it's there, locked inside my protocols, and she wanted me to know and to not feel. Watcher's head hits his sunken chest. Even at the moment of his death, he was denied the elation of freedom. The vid screens of the cogitator flicker, trying to process the influx of data, then fade all at once. Cool effect. Watching a planet be destroyed. Now, yeah, you can still just see chunks of it floating out in space. Very cool. But I guess that's it.
Victory awaits.
Your Voxcaster hisses softly, drawing your attention. It seems someone has been hailing you for some time now. Lord Captain, your immediate intervention is required. The barges you sent to Dargonus have been attacked by enemy ships that just emerged from the warp. What ships are they? How did they find us? The system's coordinates are classified. Prepare for battle, I'm coming. What ships are they? They carry no identifying marks, and their signatures are unreadable. All I can tell you is that they are of Imperial construction. How did they find us? The system's coordinates are classified. At present, we do not know, Lord Captain, but we are already working on it. Prepare for battle, I'm coming. Looks like we're going to a space battle. It's been a little bit since we've had one of these. Oh, we've got a lot of ships in this battle. Okay, these ones are friendly, actually. They're yellow. So that must be the Arbites. They are actually taking significant damage from these tiny ships. Or are those the ships that we're protecting that have the treasures, the barges? Although, why would they be shooting down the barges if that's the case? Yeah, they're not attacking. They're just continuing to drive forward. Or I guess fly forward is more accurate. So I'm guessing those are the treasure barges. And we need to keep them safe. Alright, so enemy ships. What do we have? We've got 3 Cobra class. And that's it. Wow, you guys popped in. I guess there were 4 of them, but still. They showed up into a battle that they were sorely unprepared for. We'll do a swing run because we're facing the wrong direction, which is unfortunate. Before we do that, can I at least still get some shots off? Sadly, no. Well, let's put out a fighter. Job on the storytelling. Your lore knowledge and story choice analysis is interesting, especially with the Imperium and Mechanicus. I try. I'm definitely by no means an expert on 40k lore, but I am somewhat familiar. I'd like to know more, but there's too much to know everything. So try and learn what I can and apply that. The story's great though, and I'm learning a lot more about 40k just by playing it. Let's see. I pointed this way, could I get a shot off? No. Usually that gun fires a lot farther. I'm kind of surprised it's stopping right there. Did I recently change it out for a shorter range? It says it's long range. Seems weird to me. So yeah, we can't get you in our firing arc. And these ones are definitely too far away. You've read about 28 books from Warhammer 40k? I've read probably 6 or 7. Well, I guess technically I listen to audiobooks. Same difference, though. Let's go forward a little bit. Now, even if I warp jumped, which is what I was thinking of, that's still not going to get us anywhere near close enough. Even with the extended range. We're just too far away. Which is a shame. But at least now we're facing the right way, so next round we can actually go and attack them. Alright, you, though, can get over here and join the fight. So if we put you there, had you take some shots. Not bad. More enemy ships are arriving. Okay, that makes more sense. Because I was confused that they were trying to attack us with 4 ships. And now we're facing the wrong way for all of these ones. Okay, you played the tabletop. Cool. I've never done the, like, war table gaming, but I had a group that played the Dark Heresy 2nd Edition role-playing game. So I have some experience with that, but that was years ago. I'm super excited for the Dark Heresy game the Owlcat's making, though. Another one of their ships taken out. The Heartless is such a good ship. So glad it's on our side. Meanwhile, these guys are just moving directly into the fight. Alright, what do I do about you guys? I want to take out both of these ships if possible. If I move forward, I can get you here, and that's probably enough. Actually, I don't even need to move that far forward. If we go here, then I can... Yeah, I won't have locked myself into a direct path yet. Hopefully early next year. It looks good. From what I've seen, it does look really good. So I am hopeful to see how they handle it. Owlcat's known for making really good games, so I suspect it's going to be quite good. Alright, looks like we are going to still need to move a bit more forward for you to be in range.
This one's going down.
Bloody throne, we're gonna die. What's taking so long with the engines? I assume that's the Cobra class? Doesn't say, but probably. Still need to move forward a couple more squares to get you in range of this weapon.
Bleed them.
There you go. If I use this ability, we could get back onto a better heading quicker. Yeah. It gets me going sort of the right direction. Alright, well, it's good to have you here, Songheart.
Onward!
And I can't do the shallow jump because that puts us inside of that ship. So I think that's all I'm going to be able to do this round. I can actually put out
Unleash our...
another set of interceptors. Alright, let's get you guys going this way. Okay, Reddit link that explains Eldar and Imperium? Probably. I know there are a bunch of Eldar factions, but I don't know all of them. So, yeah. I'm learning bits about their relationships, but there's plenty I don't know yet. One down. So are we down to just 2 ships left plus their interceptor? Unless more jump in. So yeah, we should be able to take them out and keep these ships safe easy enough. What are you doing? All right. Let's use this again so that I can get some better angles, because that's not the best. I went here, I would not be able to... Nope, not trying to click. No, they're just barely outside of my firing arc. If I was there... There we go. So if I came in at that angle, I would be able to shoot with that weapon. Then hopefully... Oh, I probably couldn't move any farther because that interceptor is going to get in the way. Alright, so if we assume that I'm not going to be able to get my lance weapon on them, stop right-clicking on ships. Yeah, there's a bunch of these spots that I can't actually get to. Oh, I can get there, actually. Ah, still no angle. Oh, nope, it's allowing that. There we go. That'll get that shot and that shot. Are the two of those... Well, I guess, is this better than this shot? And I think the answer is probably yes. move forward to there. I think that's a fine spot to go. Your shields are already pretty far down, so we'll shoot at you instead.
This one's going down.
Do not miss your chance, Elantak.
I'm not gonna miss my chances.
Bleed them.
Enemy shield is down. Time to unleash a counterattack.
Okay, and we'll do a warp wave. Get a bit more damage in. And yeah, we can't get any additional attacks, but that's fine. I sent you in as far as you can go. Come on, click there. Are you just unwilling to go into that square? Probably so. So if I put you here, who do you have a shot on? Just their interceptor. Factions are vastly different. The Eldar escaped before Slaanesh, billions of years before. The Dark Eldar were corrupted but lived on worlds not destroyed. The Harlequins escaped with their laughing god, who was too weak to escape Slaanesh. The Eldar was not just one race. I thought... My understanding, which is very obviously wrong, I was thinking that they sort of broke apart when Slaanesh was formed. So you're saying that they broke apart before Slaanesh formed? Okay. More enemies arriving. Alright, fine. Can you zoom in on... There we go. What is this question mark? In this zone, transport ships can safely make a warp jump. Okay. So is the goal to get... The goal is to get them over to here. Gotcha. So they're probably just going to keep jumping in ships until these guys all get over there, which they're not going to while we keep blocking their path.
The impure tremble. Turn to ashes.
Craft world's left before. Okay. Again, they are too far away. So I could get us to move farther. I could do a ram. To get a little bit farther. Nah, it's not going to let me unless there's actually something to ram. That's fair. Read the Eldar Warhammer army books a while ago now? Okay, I don't think I've read anything really Eldar focused. So, I've read a bit of Horus Heresy. I'm starting to go through Gaunt's Ghosts at the moment. Read the Infinity and the Divine, which is about Necrons, so I know a bit more about them. Most of what I've read. Oh, and the Eisenhorn trilogy, because the Inquisition is great.
Annihilate!
Move you forward. I think that's going to be that interceptor's last turn, so they're not going to be able to do anything useful. But you can actually get over here and join the fight. I'll send you here. Well, we did some damage, but more importantly, did a good bit of damage to their shields. Inquisition is a really good story arc, yeah. Inquisition as a whole is really cool. Slowly making progress towards the exit. Alright, I can take shots on you guys from this side, and I think I shall.
Fire right now! This one goes down.
Nice. Still have my left side. If I wait here, yes, I can get you with my main gun.
Fire the lance batteries.
Smite the enemies of humanity.
The Eldar brought the Inquisition to the Black Library. I'm assuming by Black Library you're not talking about just the learn how to fight chaos. Okay. Because I know Games Workshop calls their volume of books, their novels, the Black Library. You're probably talking about something in lore called the Black Library.
The time has come. Leave the hole strewn across the star.
Ah, not quite dead. Shame. Can't launch another interceptor, sadly.
Lay in the course.
Yep, and now you are just returning to my ship. If I sent you here, can you get close enough to shoot? No. Instead, I'll send you here, let you take a shot on this guy. Black Library is a place in the warp where the Eldar documented their knowledge of chaos, its demons, and how to fight them. I believe the Harlequins guard it. Cool. Makes sense. Oh. I will go there, I suppose. Webway, yeah. Surprisingly, Eldari don't like going into the actual warp itself. Webway makes a lot more sense. We have a ship here and here. Are those the last two enemy ships? I think so, at least for now. No real good way for me to get down to attack this one. I can't shoot you there. Okay. That will allow me to shoot you.
This one's going down.
Not hesitating. Show no mercy.
Perfect. That'll get you in range here, which is probably good enough. I was trying to see if I could maybe do a jump to be able to still get him with a side gun, but I don't think I need to.
Bleed them.
Oh, there is another ship. Well, I'll head over there soon enough, I'm sure. And didn't do the kind of damage I was hoping for. The interceptors are still trying to figure out how to get back to my ship. Denied the existence of chaos. The Imperium did not study it and proper ways to fight it. This is why they were woefully unprepared to deal with it. Yeah, I know they were using warp travel, but I think from what I've heard, one of the reasons the Emperor stepped back from the war at that point was he was investigating the webway and trying to find other ways of allowing mankind to travel the stars without interacting with the warp. So obviously that didn't work out because the whole Horus heresy thing. But I think his plan was just don't tell people about the warp and then stop having any further interactions with it. He's trying to destroy or contain it. Okay. Yeah.
This one's going down.
I ravel in the spectacle of their glittering ruin.
Alright, besides that interceptor, that is all of the ships currently around. Alright, battle's over. So we managed to take them out. We got another level up on our ship, which is great. Basic scraps, some trophies, etc. Reporting, all enemy vessels destroyed. When will these upstarts get the message? You attack a rogue trader, you'll be floating in the void like a dead rat in a lower decker's soup. Who were they? How did they know we were here? What are the barges? They all survived. Report received. We're moving out. Marshal Strux must be told about what happened here. Who were they? Well coordinated, well equipped, signatures encrypted. Those weren't the nameless, some nameless void rabble. They were professionals, mercenaries, Lord Captain. Yeah, the Ecclesiarchy was planning to hire mercenaries to help out with this. And I thought at the time that seemed like a bad idea. Suddenly, some very well-funded mercenaries try and take the ships from us mid-travel. Not buying it. How did they know where we were? The Vox relays the sound of heavy spitting. Traitors. Some of them had infiltrated the crew. A dozen voidsmen, a few officers, and thrown even one astropath. That eyeless scumbag sent his mates the system's coordinates when we arrived. Their ships must have been patrolling this region in the hopes of discovering Leethus. Where are these traitors? I wish to interrogate them. The Master-at-Arms handled their interrogations personally, and she managed to break the most resistant ones. In short, we learned that they wanted to destroy part of the tithe and retreat. Strange behavior for pirates, wouldn't you agree? The last one spat out a cryptic warning along with his entrails. By the time you get back to Dargonus, it will be too late. I don't know what that means exactly. And what are the barges? Successfully translated into the warp and are now on their way to the designated coordinates, Lord Captain. Alright, report received. We are moving out. Marshal Strux must be told about what happened here. And even though I clicked to upgrade my ship, that didn't happen. We don't need to make any repairs. Shockingly enough, we took no damage. So I guess let's upgrade our ram a bit. Remember the outpost that you fought in a source battle? That was an Eldari battle station that was built a long time ago to battle the Necron. A Soas battle? Space battle, maybe? I do recall battling at a space station at one point. Like a highly advanced space station that was shooting at us. That may be what you're referring to. That was a while ago, so my memory is not super up to date. Okay, we could give more armor. Okay, so yes, that one. I vaguely recall it. So that was an Eldari station. Cool. Improved RAM. I don't use the RAM ever. Repairing the void ship costs less scrap. Nice, but not critical. Silent running would allow us to start encounters earlier. Steady hand 2 allow us to use our abilities more often. That one's definitely a strong contender. Don't really care for shield pulse. We're gonna go with steady hand 2. And I guess silent running. What is silent running 2? Okay, so it guarantees it. Silent running 1 says in most encounters we start early. Silent running 2 says in all. Okay. Anything to upgrade? Can't upgrade this because we haven't used it yet. Expeditious reload. I need to remember to use that. Okay. Well, let's see. Vibos requires our presence. It was abandoned by the Eldar and repurposed by the Imperium. It is also a powerful anti-chaos device. Imperium doesn't know how to fully use them. There are a few of them. I think we blew it up, as I recall. So, probably not the best solution, but it was a good solution at the time. Alright, Dargonus is where we need to go. So I guess we will hold off before dealing with Vivos. No, I left it. Oh, good. Cool. Again, it was a while ago and I can't fully remember everything that I've done in a playthrough. I try and keep most of the major details straight in my head, but this game has been going on so long that some things get forgotten.